Hi everybody, this is In the Center of the Circle, episode number 13. It is my great pleasure tonight to be with Reverend Carrie Hunter. And boy, this is getting to be a traveling road show. I'm in Victoria, British Columbia tonight, which is a beautiful ferry ride away from where I live. And before we get going and have a nice juicy conversation with Carrie, we're going to start with my partner Jana's song, All the Good. Just to get us present and celebrate the innate goodness in all of us. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. Same words, different melody. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good I can do. First melody. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. One more time, same melody. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. But the world needs. But the world needs all the good that I can do. One more time. But the world needs all the good that I can do. There we go. Thank you for singing along, and thank you for singing along, Carrie.
Thank you for singing.
So, when did we first meet? I'm trying to remember how long ago that was.
Well, it was at Reverend Terry's church in White Rock.
Was it? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because
Yes.
I'm remembering many moments after that, but I didn't remember it was with Terry.
Yeah,
So Reverend
it
Terry,
was with Terry. Yeah.
he's still based in White Rock, someone that we both know and love dearly.
Yes.
I should get him on one of these shows.
You should,
Terry
yeah,
should.
yeah. He has a great background, yeah.
Yes, he does. So that was, I don't
I
remember.
don't.
10 years ago? Who knows?
At least 10 years ago. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
So this show being all about celebrating goodness, and I'm really getting clear that really, even more clearly than that, it's really about healing. Mm-hmm. That my intention is to celebrate everybody who comes on and celebrate the good that they do in the world, the healing work that they do, and hopefully inspire and heal anybody who may be tuning in. So, as is my custom, I had some great conversations with you and emails shared back and forth. And I want to, there are two moments in particular that I would like to hear you talk about first. But tell us what happened at 2. I loved hearing about that. I just want to hear you articulate that.
Well, when I was 2, I used to toddle off to church all by myself. Wow. There was a church that was just a few doors down the street from me. Wow. And I don't know how I got there the first time, but I was probably out playing. The doors were probably open. There was probably music. Mm-hmm. And I just wandered in. And I used to go and sit in the front pew. Wow. And probably the minister thought I belonged to somebody way at the back,
right.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that was my place on Sunday. My parents didn't go to church. And when I was really, really naughty, I wasn't allowed to go to church on Sunday. That was verboten. So I don't know what I ever did where I was so bad that I couldn't go to church on Sunday. But that was just the way it was at our place. And I'd go home from church, and all of our relatives lived all around us for the first little while. Mm-hmm. And so I used to get all my cousins and line them up on the fence, and then I would preach to them. Whatever I heard that morning, I would preach, but they weren't that keen about it. And they were all older. I mean, honestly, I was just a little tiny thing. So, but I remember it vividly, and I was just really, really God connected as a child.
Mm-hmm. And then as you said, you know, that knowing it too, you went off and took some twists and turns, and you know, a lot of moments that, you know, journalism and motherhood and stuff. And then at some point there was a shift back to the awareness that you had when you were 2, and here you are.
Yeah, I don't think I ever lost the awareness. I mean, I was always God connected, and wherever I was, I went to church. I mean, when I was working, I would go across the street to a church. I had an office in New York, and every day at 4 o'clock I'd go to St. Patrick's Cathedral and go in and just sit and pray and meditate, because in that city where the energy is so big, you know, I needed a place where it was quiet and peaceful. So that was always there, you know, part of my life. But I wasn't actively in ministry, of course. I was doing a lot of other things.
Okay, so now 8 years old, something significant happened at 8.
Yes.
What happened then?
I was standing in the middle of the kitchen in my family home. We had moved we'd moved a few times at that point. And both of my parents were alcoholics, and they were never really very present, and there was a lot of craziness that went on in the house. And I can remember standing there, and I had actually dropped a bottle of milk on the floor. It was back in the days of bottles of milk that are now coming back.
Them, yep.
And it spilled, and the bottle broke, and I reached for a dustpan and a brush, and I was sweeping it up and cleaning it up. And my father was there, and I could see his lips moving, but I couldn't hear anything that he was saying. He was really angry. And, I mean, I was just a little kid and little hands, and it had, you know, slipped through my hands. And I remember at that moment thinking, this is not the way that I have to live my life, and I won't ever be like this. And it was very powerful, and to me it was a God moment. It was that moment of pure inspiration that came through, telling me that there was another way to live and there was a different kind of life, and I didn't have to buy into that. It was very powerful.
Okay, so that happened at 8, and then, you know, you talked about in some of the notes that you sent me, you talked about how basically there was a lot of self-healing that went on.
There was a lot of self-healing, and I wasn't, you know, we go along, and I don't think we're always conscious of the healing that we're going through. But, you know, and our lives change. And I always remember Reverend Terry saying, you know, your life changes, and you don't know the moment that it changed. Well, I mean, I did know at age 8 that my life had changed. And maybe I knew that at 2 as well. But, you know, we do go along, and then all of a sudden one day we realize that we're different. And for me, it was looking back. I was a young mother. I had both of my daughters when I was very young, got married when I was very young. And one of the things that I really wanted for my children was a really happy, beautiful life. And I wanted to be involved in their lives in a way that I didn't have that parenting and that involvement. And so I would always ask myself, what was it that I needed when I was their ages? You know, what was it I wanted, and what was it I needed? They weren't always the same thing. And I would make my decisions based upon that. And my daughter Kendall asked me one day, I think when she was about 16 or 17, what's the best thing about being a mother? And I said, for me, the best thing about being a mother is that I healed a lot of childhood wounds through their love and through loving them. And it was through making those conscious decisions along the way about how things needed to be, and it was very powerful. So that was the beginning of it, of that inner child, you know, that really needed mothering, and I didn't realize I was mothering myself while I was mothering them.
Let me put some music in here. There was something I was thinking about earlier today that sounds like it wants to come through. This is a chant by Karen Drucker, which you may know. I just adore Karen.
She's wonderful.
She is wonderful. This is a chant of hers called If Love Is Why I'm Here. I don't know if you know it.
I don't know it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm going to know it soon.
If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. If love is why I'm here, Let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. One more time. If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. Now we just sing give and receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. If love is why I'm here, let me be an open channel. If love is why I'm here, let me give and then receive. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. You are watching In the Center of the Circle, episode number 13. My name is Nathan Aswell. We're coming to you live from Victoria, British Columbia, a beautiful ferry ride away from where I live, which is close to Vancouver, Canada. And my guest is Carrie Hunter, Reverend Carrie Hunter, whom I have known for years and years. Years and years. And yet, enjoying our connection today in a new way. Now, let's see. You were talking about, where were we just before that music? You were talking about motherhood and the gift of being healed through your children. What a wonderful thing. And I can only imagine that. I'm not a parent, but I've certainly heard that many times over.
It's so beautiful. And also when I have grandchildren, and when I see my daughters with their children, and see what wonderful mothers they are, and how loving they are, and my heart just splits wide open because it's so beautiful. It really is. It's a wonderful thing to see.
Yeah. So then in 1990, something happened.
In 1990, I left my husband, who was a wonderful man. And we had just grown to be very different people. I mean, we married when I was very young. He was older. And I moved to Vancouver. I maintained my job. I ran an international television festival at the time, and I kept on commuting. But in Vancouver, I didn't commute every day.
Okay.
I commuted every week or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what that's like. And so the first day that I was in Vancouver, I went to a New Thought church. It was the Center for Positive Living in Port Moody. And friends of mine who lived in Vancouver invited me to go there. And I thought, I would never go this far to church. I mean, it takes forever from West Van, where I was living. Yeah. And I walked through the door, and I simply walked through the door, and I started to cry. And I knew that I was home. That had never happened to me before. And it was a teaching. It was a God that I could understand. And that was another part of a healing journey and a total change in my life. I soon left my job and was in studies almost full time, and just really one of the more rewarding times in my life. And there have been many.
Now, when we were talking earlier on the way here, you talked about Terry, walking in to visit Terry. Was that soon after?
No, actually, I didn't. I met Terry probably in about, I'm guessing, 1997, probably about 7 or 8 years after moving to Vancouver. But he was in the States.
Right.
And he came back. He had just finished ministry. He had gone to Nevada City and had a church there, and he came back. And he took over the White Rock Church. And one Sunday I wanted to go and listen to him because there was a guest speaker at Reverend Darlene's church, and I didn't really want to listen to the guest speaker.
Okay.
So I went out very early to White Rock, not knowing if Terry would remember me or not, and walked in, and it was early. And Perry Dickinson, his music director, was playing piano, and Terry took one look and shouted, "Carrie," and came running down the aisle and danced me down the aisle. Terry's...
I can see that so clearly. I can see the two of you dancing
down.
Absolutely, I can.
Yeah. And he said, you got to stay after the service. Can't talk to you right now. Got to stay. So I stayed, and I went and talked to him, and he said, I'm going to start teaching ministry. Are you interested? And I said, I'm in. So he had a class of about, I think there were 7 or 8 of us, and we did 2 years of ministerial training with Terry. And then I served as a staff minister for 6 years at his center as well, and loved every second of it. Terry and I are really good friends and have remained good friends through the years. Yeah. But he was instrumental in my healing too, because it was never safe for me to speak my mind as a child. I never knew whether I was going to get hit or what was going to happen, and it made me very intuitive. Because you knew whether to duck when you went into a room or to close the door and go back out again. But Terry gave me a safe place to be me and to really become my authentic self. And I could say anything to him, and he could say anything to me. And neither one of us ever were offended by anything. And I've talked to him about this recently, just what a gift that was, because for me that was really my journey to authenticity. That really healed the last dredges, I think, of the things that were left in me of, wanting to be nice, wanting to be a people pleaser, wanting everybody to love me.
Can't relate to that at all.
No, I'm sure you can't.
I don't know anything
Nobody
about
else can. I'm the only person in the world.
It's amazing. Thanks for taking that on behalf of all of us.
Well,
let me play a little bit of another song.
Okay.
And again, it's this is one of mine. It's called "The Wholehearted Life." I won't play the whole thing, just a little bit. But to me, it's it's resonating because it's just reminding me of how we are impacted by everyone who comes into our lives, crosses our path, and there's a choice that we make, and that's what this song is about. It's about making that choice. So I'll just sing the chorus and then the second verse, which I think is really pertinent. I want to have a wholehearted life, where no matter what's done or left undone, I belong and I'm enough. A wholehearted life, where I'm worthy of love. So I choose to be set free, take responsibility, stand in vulnerability, speak my heart. To get love I must give love, to belong I must reach out, to find truth I must be true and play my part. 'Cause owning my story and loving myself too are the bravest things I'll ever do. I want to have a wholehearted life, where no matter what's done or left undone, I belong and I'm enough. A wholehearted life, where I'm worthy of love. Worthy, worthy, worthy of love. Worthy, worthy of love. I'm able, able, able to love. Able, able to love. I'm able, able, able to love. Able, able to love.
I've heard you sing that before. I love that song.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to give musical voice to that, to that piece that I was hearing. So, my next question is, so you went through this whole experience and motherhood and training and Terry and many centers in the time I've known you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back. So there was with Reverend Darlene in New Westminster, then
Darlene in Port Moody,
okay,
and then Terry in White Rock.
These are all within the greater Vancouver area,
Lower Mainland,
an hour-ish, or less.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I guest spoke at Unity.
Yeah.
I did interim ministry at the Centre for Spiritual Living Vancouver before Mary Marie Shelton came.
Right.
The Hennessy's, actually, they had the Centre for what was it called? The Spiritual Center for Dynamic Living.
Yes,
that was it.
That's right.
Long title.
Yes.
Yeah, at the planetarium, and they had invited me to come and minister with them as well. So I was there.
That too. Yep.
And I have guest spoken in a number of places in Canada, in the States. My favorite place on the planet, in Maui, and did a workshop there. But now I'm in Victoria and loving it.
Mm-hmm. So when we were speaking earlier, you were saying that you wanted to just say more about what I want to get to now is, just the focus of your ministry these days. So you're in Victoria, and it sounded to me like you wanted to just share some more words about the teaching.
Well, I really love this teaching. As I said, when I went into Darlene's church, I knew that I was home.
Sorry, the teaching being science of mind.
This being science of mind, right?
Yeah.
And the science of mind teachings are in Centers for Spiritual Living. There are 400 churches in 33 countries right now, and it's growing. And basically, we call ourselves spiritual as opposed to being religious. But we really, we embrace all religions. People from all walks of life and from all cultures come to us. The thing that I like about it the most is Ernest Holmes, the founder, always said, remain open at the top. So he never said, this is what you have to believe.
Right.
He studied world religions. I think he synthesized the best in all of them. And that's what's in our teaching. Yeah. And we teach people how to think as opposed to what to think. Everyone's left to find the truth inside themselves. And we teach that the truth is inside each one of us. So, you don't, there's no dogma that's attached to it. Right. And I really, really like that a lot. Yeah. And it's a self-empowering teaching. When people want to have better lives, we have tools that we can give them, spiritual tools, where they learn how to create. Because so many of us don't know that we're doing that all the time anyway. That this power and presence is within us. It's not somewhere out there. As Terry used to say, God's not sitting out there wearing a pink nightie and sitting on a cloud. This entity that we call God, this power, this presence, is inside each and every one, and we all have equal amounts of it. You have just as much in you as Mother Teresa had, as Jesus had, as there's not any discrimination there. Yeah. And so we learn how to use that power in a conscious way, because subconsciously it's being used all the time anyway. And so we can create what we want in our lives. And, for a lot of people that means stuff. I'm not so interested in stuff. It's nice to have stuff. But for me, a rich inner life is the most important part of it. And when you live your life from the inside out rather than the outside in, everything just happens. It manifests for you. And I did a talk a few weeks ago called "So What Did Elvis Have to Do with It?" And, because if you start looking at the things about Elvis, wherever he went, there were crowds that gathered. He upset the establishment. There were disputes in homes. He died a tragic death at an early age. You know, if I didn't name him, you might think I was talking about Jesus. And so, you know, my comparison was that Jesus lived his life from the inside out, and Elvis lived his life from the outside in, and therein lies the difference. So I think that's what our teaching is about. It's learning to live from the inside out, and then all your dreams can come true.
Beautiful. How can people, let's just mention the website, for people who would like to know more about you and would like to know more about events that are happening at cslvictoria.org.
That's right.
cslvictoria.org. And services are Sundays at 11?
Sundays at 11, and we have a meditation at 10:30. And there are also classes from time to time, and those classes are listed on the website.
Okay. And are you doing anything online, or do people need to be physically present to?
I'm not doing them online yet. I actually just started teaching because I just joined this center here on the 1st of January, so my first classes are going now, and half the congregation is in class. So it's a busy time, but I am looking at online down the line.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So I'm happy to just be giving you a little nudge in that direction.
Yeah, thank you.
Because
well, this is an inspiration.
we have people watching, people regularly who watch in Florida and Colorado and Illinois. So
fantastic.
Yeah. So I would like to
Thank
let
you.
everybody know wherever they may be that geography is not an impediment.
It's
to
not
being connected to you. I can't believe how fast a half hour goes.
Time up?
Just I'm going to take us out with another chant. But is there anything moving through you? Anything, thoughts that you would like to add?
I think, again, going back to Dr. Holmes, at the end of his life, I mean, he was very intellectual, and we deal a lot with the mind in science of mind. And, at the end of his life, he said that he wished that he'd spent more time talking about love. And for me, that's the only thing that matters. It's to be in the heart. It's to love everybody. And I can honestly say when I stand up there on Sunday morning and look out at my people that I love them, and I deeply love them. It's a wonderful spiritual thing that happens, which I know that you understand, where you just feel the love just pouring through you and out of, and it heals everything. Love heals everything. So for me, that's the most important thing in life right now, is knowing that.
Beautifully said. I look forward to experiencing that.
I'm
tomorrow.
Looking forward to having you there too. Thank you.
My great pleasure. Okay, let me just see here. I'm going to take us out with another chant by Karen Drucker. Have I mentioned how much I adore Karen Drucker? I think that's well documented in this episode.
I adore her too.
In this episode and other episodes. This one is called Loving Kindness. I have a chant with the same words called Metta, but I just think Karen's is just so much more succinct. So, may I be filled with loving kindness, may I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease, and may I be happy. May I be filled with loving kindness, may I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease, and may I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness, may you be well, may you be peaceful and at ease, and may you be happy. Last time, may we be filled with loving kindness, may we be well, may we be peaceful and at ease, and may we be happy. have been listening to and watching In the Center of the Circle, episode number 13, from Victoria, Canada, which is a lovely ferry ride away from where I live, Vancouver, Canada. My guest this evening has been the lovely and esteemed Reverend Carrie Hunter, and we hope that you've enjoyed being a part of this last half hour, and please share the show with your friends. I would like the show to be to serve as many people as possible. Just really interested in filling the world with love and healing energy, one heart at a time. So if you enjoyed the show, please let other people know about it. Thanks for spending half an hour with us. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you.
And namaste, everyone.
Namaste.